Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. Hey, I put out a couple videos over the weekend, and all of the comments seem to be more focused on what I thought about this Reforged update. Hopefully, we'll know more a little bit this afternoon at 1 o'clock when they do the live stream of it. Maybe we'll get some more gameplay. But I did want to just put my thoughts on record before we get too far into this. So going back, I've been playing the game for 10 years. Then a few years into that, I started making videos because I saw a space for lower tier videos. So if you know on my site, I've got all the original lower tier videos done. Of course, those were rendered obsolete when update 5.5 came out and they tried to do away with seal clubbing. So all of the derp guns that were there, all of the fun tanks like the A-20, all gone as far as being overpowered compared to the others. And they're very much all the same with very similar gun characteristics. And, it's just more of a ground for learning. But when I started playing that level, it was you learned, but you also had to grind. Now with all of the 5X boosters, all that, you can just pretty much play a couple battles at each tier and you're on to the next tank. So that has been a little bit of a downside detriment to the game, I believe, because you've got people with less than 1,000, 2,000 battles playing tier 10, and you could never do that in the original days of Blitz. And also, when I first played, medium tanks were probably the best tanks to have at the upper tiers. Obviously, Wargaming noticed that, and they made changes to the tanks. And I think for a while, heavy tanks were where it was at. And then now you're getting into all of these auto loaders, the bigger derp guns. And I think this, along with the fact that it's so much easier to grind and get to the top tiers without having the skill, makes for even more lopsided games. So if there's any one thing I hope comes out of this update is that the number of lopsided games goes down. And that's really going to be up to, I guess, all of the characteristics of these tanks and how much they change, thinking back to update 5.5, to make this a better, more competitive environment. So the other issues that I've had with Blitz lately has been so much focused on obviously them making money, right? So premium tanks to sell, bundles, camos, that type of stuff. And a lack of updates to the maps. And then when they put the maps into bundles and we don't even get to see all of the maps except for during different seasons, that has been a disappointment. So I'm hoping that that does change and that we can have access to all of the maps because they do look really great with this update. So that is great. Commanders, adding commanders to the game. At first, I'll just stop this right here so I can talk about the commanders real quick because I've watched a lot of videos, tried to get as much information as I could to put this together. But Duncan can go on everyone's tank. And the thing with Duncan is you're getting a triple impact. So on the third shot, you're going to get an increase in damage. And I've seen that this goes all the way up to 20%. So here's a new thing that we're going to have to grind. I've also seen that you could potentially just automatically upgrade the commander using gold, which is a little bit of a pay to win, but I'm fine with that. But on the positive side, this now gives me something to grind. As a person that has every single tank, has so much free EXP, whenever a new tank line comes out, I can basically just free XP it. So my days of grinding are pretty much over. But now with commanders added, I've got something to focus on grinding. Okay, but how unfair is that now to add a 20% increase to the third shot? And it's just going to increase the amount of damage that each tank is doing, therefore potentially leading to more lopsided battles, which I'm not a big fan of. I've seen like with Vasquez, you can get your hit points increased. Again, I've seen this, this is just level 1. When you get this completed up, I think it goes up to 20%. And I've seen like a mouse with 3,600 hit points. Again, the fairness of that to people that are just starting with commanders that haven't. Anyway, so, that I'm kind of open about. I'm not going to be too upset about. And we'll see how that goes. The other thing that I'm not sure about is how these tanks here, you can see tier 7 is the top tier now. And there's going to be subsets underneath that, how they're linked together. It doesn't look like they're in like country tech trees like they are anymore. So you will see how that goes as well. And it'll be interesting to see, someone who's got so many tanks, how that works out. If I don't have a tank that's, I don't know, in a set, how does that work out? We'll see. But again, I do think the maps look great. One of the things that when we start seeing some battles on the screen here with real tanks, I think the graphics around the damage and all that stuff are hard to see. I'm old, I get it. But the black on white text here with the damage numbers seem to be very closely lumped in with all the other numbers, and it's just hard to see. So I'm hoping that, I guess on the 24th, they're going to open the testing on it. And this, of course, is slowed down, so that number stays on the screen a lot longer for you guys to see here. Just gives me a little bit more time to talk about this video. That hopefully, some of those things get ironed out during the beta testing or whatever you want to call it. So I'm really interested to see who gets into that, and really want to see some videos and see how this all pans out. You've got the new physics where tanks can roll over. I think it's going to be a good update overall. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think the game's gotten a little bit stale, and I'm looking forward to a change. So I think that is my initial impression of what's coming. But we'll just have to wait and see. It is what it is, kind of like the update 5.5. We got through it. We lived through it. Yeah, we didn't like it for a while. And I think a lot of people probably have forgotten about it by now. But it served its intended purpose, which was to stop seal clubbing. And so hopefully this update here, serves its ultimate purpose and does make the game more enjoyable for everyone. But like I said, you can see as the snow falls off the roof there from being shot, there's a lot more interaction with this. But like I said, I just want to see those lopsided battles go down. So hopefully that they can do what they can to limit that. And I just feel that perhaps maybe some of these commanders' crew skills are overcooked a little bit, but we'll just have to see. So I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm going to watch the stream today at 1 o'clock, and we'll go from there. So with that, guys, I hope you're having fun out there. Don't be too worried about the update. We'll get through it. We'll forget the old Blitz in no time at all. So with that, I'm going to end this video real quick, but those are my initial thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And of course, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching, guys.